So what's better, turbocharging or supercharging? Well, they're both great systems because they improve the efficiency of the engine, but at the same time as improving the efficiency of the engine, they're also using power from the engine to drive the compressors on the system. Now, it's generally viewed that turbocharging is vastly more efficient because it uses some of the energy that's normally wasted by just driving out the exhaust gas, and that's true. However, at the same time, you've got to bear in mind that when you stick a turbocharger in the exhaust pipe of your engine, you're reducing the volumetric efficiency of the engine. The ability of the engine to push exhaust gas out is reduced because you've stuck an obstruction in the exhaust. And of course, this particular obstruction has a compressor on the other side of it that's drawing a phenomenal amount of power. How much power? Well, the turbocharger on an average turbocharged engine in a road vehicle absorbs somewhere between 25 and 80 horsepower, depending on the design. Yeah, that much power, 25 to 80 horsepower. It's a very powerful pump. Well, think of what it has to do, right? Now, you can have a supercharger that's got the equivalent performance. Well, it'll absorb the same amount of power. I mean, compressors are compressors, we're comparing eggs with eggs. Now, it's true that you're using some of the energy from the exhaust system with a turbocharger that would normally just be wasted, so it gains efficiency that way. The supercharger, you actually get a further inefficiency by the drive system, either a belt drive or a gear drive. It absorbs a bit of power to drive that system, So in theory, the supercharger is way inferior to turbocharging. However, there's something you can do with a supercharger that you can't do with a turbocharger. You can actually improve the flow of the exhaust gas out of the cylinders. For example, you can put a supercharger onto an engine and then put extractors onto the engine, right? Now, extractors actually almost suck the exhaust gas out. So you visualize your piston coming up on a supercharged engine with a nice set of extractors and a 2.5 inch sports exhaust system, for example. Well, the piston's coming up on exhaust stroke and it's going, oh, this is easy. This is easy. Well, easier, right? Now, you can understand then that on the one hand, a supercharger loses out in efficiency because it's not using this waste exhaust gas pressure. On the other hand, it's improving, it can, with the right installation, improve efficiency by making it a hell of a lot easier to push the exhaust gas out, right? So which is the more efficient system? Well, history has shown that both systems can work just as well. In fact, you can have a supercharged engine that's very economical and also powerful. And the only thing that determines which way you go on that is how far your right foot is being pushed to the floor all the time. But which system would you choose? If you had money to, like say you were fitting this to you were doing this as an aftermarket exercise to modify a vehicle. Well, personally, I would choose supercharging every time for a simple reason. That given that they can both be as efficient, provided you can improve the efficiency of the fuel flow out of the exhaust in a supercharged installation, the supercharger delivers power right through the rev range, and you get a much more drivable car, or vehicle. I mean, supercharging. Have you ever driven a supercharged car? They're a pleasure because the power starts right from when you first take off, and it goes right through the mid-range. Even at low revs, you've got a lot more power available to you. Of course, if you use that power all the time, you will use more fuel, but you've got it there if you want it. So say, for instance, you're driving normally, you're using a normal amount of fuel, that's good. But if somebody pulls out in front of you and you've got to accelerate to get around them, well, you can with a supercharged engine and it's there straight away. What about with turbocharging? Well, turbocharged designs are getting more sophisticated with, variable geometry turbos and all sorts of carry on. But there will always be the problem that the turbine has to spin up to speed. The engine has to have increased in revs before the turbocharger will start working efficiently. But you don't have to do that. Supercharger is geared to the engine. It works regardless. Supercharging will always be superior. So yeah.